red and gold of Iowa State. And there is a decided Hilton Southwest feel to this crowd today.
There sure is.
Sun Devils control the opening tip. Number 1, Alston Mason controls. Here's Bashir Jihad. Gets it to the 17-year-old Quaintance, who lost it out of bounds. It'll stay Arizona State basketball.
Big part of today is Arizona State taking care of the ball. You have got to be ball strong. Ball security, catching the ball strong is important.
Here's B.J. Freeman, and the first 2 of the game from number 10 in white. Here's a look at your Iowa State starters. No Milan Momcilovic, out with the broken hand. So now the best 6th man in the country, Curtis Jones, in the starting lineup. Seven on the shot clock for the Clones. Here's Josh Jefferson. 2 in red, left hand, off the window, no good. First rebound of the game for Quaintance.
Arizona State ran a little stunt double at Keshon Jackson. When he caught it, made him give it up.
Here's Freeman, double teamed. Kick out, Adam Miller, no good. And Jefferson clears. Keshon Gilbert, the runner in the paint, no good. And another one and done for the Cyclones.
Iowa State has been so good scoring in the paint, about 40 points a game in the paint so far this year. And it starts with all 3 of their guards with the ability to take you off the dribble.
Quaintance tries a 3 and hits.
It's only his 2nd in Big 12 play. He's now 2 of 12. So the scouting report saying you can kind of give that up. He buries one.
Known for his work close to the rim, Jaden Quaintance hits the triple, and it's 5-zip Arizona State.
I'll put one in your face.
Here's Gilbert. Off the mark. The rebound to Mason. Good point guard matchup in this one. Mason and Tamin Lipsey. Here's another deep 3. That one way off the mark. Iowa State in transition. That's where they like to make their hay offensively. Best in the conference in fast break points. But now they set up their offense with the big man, Deshaun Jackson, in the paint.
And there's that length. There's Jaden Quaintance. And it's not just the shots he blocks, although he's averaging over 2 blocks a game. It's the shots that he alters. For a freshman, for a 17-year-old, he's not going to turn 18 until next July. He is physically ready to play at this level, going up there against Deshaun Jackson, who's 275 pounds. Quaintance does a nice job altering that shot.
He's 1st in all of major conference basketball in blocks per game, 3rd overall. And to your point, he's not even eligible for the NBA draft this year.
We asked him yesterday if he knew that before he reclassified. He said, yeah, well, I was aware.
And look at the youngster getting on the deck, but it's a turnover nonetheless. Here's Curtis Jones for 3, off the mark. And the rebound to Jihad. Adam Miller making his 100th career start. Can't get in the scoring column. And it's going to stay Sun Devils basketball.
You know, the glass is another big part of today, Rich. Both these teams, good offensive rebounding teams. So the ability for Arizona State, again, against this Iowa State offense that is really potent this year, the ability for Arizona State, which can struggle at times to score, especially in the half court, to get some extra possessions will be big.
And here is a welcome sign for Sun Devil basketball fans. Josan Sanin is in the game. Number 3 in white, just missed his first shot. It goes out of bounds. It'll stay Iowa State basketball.
Prior to the year saying he's the best shooter that he has ever coached.
That is high praise and makes for a terrific 1-2 punch of freshman for Arizona State. And they're going to call an offensive foul on Josh Jefferson.
Well, that's where this front line for Arizona State can hold their own. You know, Bashir Jihad, he's not going to give up ground, and that's what Jefferson loves to do. If he's going to get one-on-one coverage, he loves to play bully ball. He's really skilled, he's a good passer, but he's trying to use his bulk to bully you. A nice job by Jihad to hold his ground.
Get up, Jay, get up, Jay, get up, Jay, get up, Jay.
Here's Sannon, guarded by Jones. Now Jihad. Tied up, and it's a jump ball. Good hands by number 2 in Cardinal, Josh Jefferson.
Nice little back and forth there. Jihad on one end, and then there's Jefferson, who is a do-everything guy. I mean, how much better is he playing? He's been good all year. He has gone to another level in their last few games.
And he has just blown up the stat sheets. Points, rebounds, steals, and even assists. That one is good. Right on cue. And Iowa State gets their first bucket of the game. Iowa State's going to be called for the foul. 15:36 to go. We take our first time out. Back in Tempe alongside Chris Patola, I'm Rich Hollenberg. Josh Jefferson coming off a career-high 30 in their blowout win against UCF.
Great find out of the portal. You know, he wasn't one of those shiny objects necessarily out of the portal, but he was a great cultural fit, first and foremost. And, I mean, you talked about the diversity of his game. He's really skilled. Like, you can put him on the block. He'll play bully ball. A little bit of a below-the-rim guy, but he's going to use angles, use his bulk. He does work on the glass, and then defensively, he's been a really good fit. I mean, just, you know, he's one of those guys that I think has really shown you how good TJ Otzelberger's been in terms of roster management and getting guys out of that portal that fit what they want to do.
Yeah, they don't go after the blue bloods necessarily, the top 50 guys in the transfer portal, but Josh Jefferson coming over from St. Mary's is a perfect fit, and he really upgrades this roster offensively.
He really does. I mean, you saw him hit the 3 there. He was 3 of 4 from 3 against UCF. Now, he does have 2 fouls, which will be something to keep an eye on.
So that brings Grant Chatfield on the floor, and he gets abused by Jaden Quaintance right off the bat.
How about the start for Quaintance to this game against that front line of Iowa State?
5 points, 2 rebounds for 21 in white. Almost got away with a steal, but he's going to be whistled for his first foul. There's TJ Otzelberger, 2 Sweet 16s in his first 3 years, bleeding Cardinal red and gold. He was an assistant for Iowa State for 3 different coaches before taking over that first chair in Ames. And all he's done this year is get him off to the best start in 25 years in that program's history. Jones, the offensive rebound, and a foul is going to go on Quaintance.
You know, TJ Otzelberger is one of the 5 best coaches in our game right now. There's a humility to him, given his talent, that I really respect. But the job he's done, when he took over, he looked at the personnel they had, realized like they had to build this Iowa State thing through their defense. But what he has done in terms of managing his roster, keeping guys in this program, you've got 2 transfers in your backcourt in Curtis Jones and Keshon Gilbert, who are now in their 2nd year in this program, so they're no longer that 1-year rental. You go out, you get a Deshaun Jackson, a Josh Jefferson, and what they're doing offensively this year, he's just done a fantastic job.
This Iowa State team coming off a blowout win over UCF. Most points ever in a regulation Big 12 game. They scored over 100. But they find themselves down 3 after the first 5 minutes here on the road against Arizona State. Jihad skip pass deflected by Lipsy. Freeman lost the handle. And look at Lipsy. Busted left thumb and all, or right thumb, I should say, and he's the first man on the floor.
Well, he almost picked off the skip pass. You know, he's so alert off of the ball. And then he's diving on the floor. I mean, he pokes this away. and then is diving on the floor after it. He is an absolute warrior, one of the best players at that position, that point guard position in college basketball.
Almost a 5-second call. Indeed, it was a 5-second call. Your officials today, Michael Greenstein, Eric Curry, Randy McCall, and that's an Arizona State turnover.
Well, at least it's a dead ball turnover. Turnovers have really hurt Arizona State.
Lipsy for 3 off the mark. Here comes Mason. Now Freeman left alone, top of the key, too strong. Lipsy with the tap. He might not be able to grab that ball with 2 hands, so he does the next best thing. And a traveling violation called on Curtis Jones. Here's our first look at Bobby Hurley in his 10th year in Tempe, already the second winningest all-time coach here, passing Herb Sendek, trailing only Ned Wolf, whose name is on this court inside Desert Financial Arena. Here's the big man, Sean Phillips, number 9 in white. Gives it up to Sannon. And we're going the other way, a moving screen call.
You know, Arizona State coming off of one of their best wins of the year. You know, they had been on a little bit of a tailspin there, losing 4 straight. To go on the road, flying right from Cincinnati, and to get that win against a top 25 team in West Virginia showed a lot of toughness from Arizona State.
Talk about a fight. Jihad comes away with it. Sun Devils now looking for back-to-back top 25 wins. That would be the first time in over 3 decades that they've turned that trick. Mason, no. Phillips, yes.
Arizona State doing a nice job on the offensive glass so far, and that's what Phillips gives you. You're not going to run a play for him, but he's big in that paint.
Here's Gilbert. Tough 2.
Those 2 guards, especially Jones and Gilbert, they put so much pressure on the defense to force you to guard them off of the dribble. They are so good attacking.
Here's Freeman, full head of steam. And they're going to count the basket. Goaltending called on Iowa State.
Iowa State having a hard time stopping this momentum off of that ball screen. I mean, Demarion Watson never regains the angle there on B.J. Freeman, and then there's that follow-up by Phillips. Just really good size in there at 7 feet.
This Arizona State defense holding the top scoring Big 12 team to just 6 points in the first 8 minutes. But now they're starting to get on track. Tamin Lipsy for 3.
Iowa State has not shot it well from 3 percentage-wise in conference. They don't shoot a high volume. But I think teams are forcing them to prove they can make those shots rather than giving up paint touches.
And there's that Cyclone defense. Fast break opportunity. And a foul is called. That'll send Tamin Lipsy to the free throw line. And what we just saw there, Chris, vintage Iowa State defense to offense.
And their conversion this year is one of the reasons they're scoring so much in the paint. You know, again, they're averaging 40 points a game in the paint. 15 of those are coming off of the fast break. You've got 3 guards, all of whom can push, can finish at the basket. And then Iowa State's done a really nice job getting to the foul line. They, on the season, Rich, this is an astounding figure. It's one of those stats that slaps you in the face when you see it. They have made 51 more free throws than their opponents have attempted. I mean, that's how you get to 85 points a game.
Lipsy goes 1 for 2. You talk about an extension of your head coach on the floor. That's Tamin Lipsy for TJ Otzelberger. So now, after that free throw, Iowa State cuts the Arizona State lead to 1. And we have a foul on the floor.
After their West Virginia loss. No, they didn't play their best, and give credit to West Virginia, but they came back, and their next game, against UCF, they put up 108. And I thought they had an edge in that game. It was a great performance, and that's what winning teams do. I thought it said a lot about Iowa State's character.
Review,
and do not adjust your TV screens. Our graphics are now correct. They waved off that goaltending call, so now Iowa State has its first lead of the game. It was 11-10. Chris, the student body here refers to ASU as always something university. Here the Sun Devil faithful hoping that this goaltending call being waved off does not signal another downturn for the Sun Devils. Here's Sannon, the freshman. Nearly had it taken away. 4 on the shot clock. 3-ball attempt off the mark, rebounded by Watson.
You're not going to be able to just go one-on-one against this Iowa State defense. You've got to get more ball movement than that. You settle for a low percentage shot at the end of that.
Cyclones in the midst of a 6-0 run to give them that 10-9 lead. Now 10 on the timer. Here's Lipsy to Jackson. Deshaun Jackson goes up and draws the foul on Sean Phillips. That'll be the big man's second.
Double at them because they're too big, they're too skilled, they're going to be able to work to get their position, but you have too much scoring around them. Both Jackson and Jefferson in particular are too good of passers. They can kind of pick you apart. And both of those guys, Jackson and Jefferson, are really good, even if they catch it at the mid-post, of using that extended dribble to get their position. Just a tough matchup.
Jackson 2 for 2 from the line, his first 2 of the game. Jaden Quaintance back on the floor for Bobby Hurley. If you're Arizona State's offense, how do you attack this Iowa State defense?
I think you've got to get more east-west, more of that zoom stuff that Arizona State runs, dribble handoffs.
Sannon tried to get it through the eye of a needle inside.
Have to react to your movement in the ball movement.
That's the first foul on Keshon Gilbert. 15 on the shot clock for Arizona State. Tied up, possession arrow to Iowa State.
Well-timed double there by Jackson, coming and getting jihad. And that's where you've got to be ball strong. You have got to expect that Iowa State is coming aggressively and coming for your ball.
Arizona State second to last in the conference in most turnovers per game. They turn it over 13 plus times a game. Here's Gilbert. Little one-on-one, and it cost him. Picked off by Sannon. Here's the freshman with the floater. Joshua Sannon in the scoring column.
And it was tipped off by a turnover from Keshon Gilbert. Too much dribbling.
Step back 3, Curtis Jones. We've seen that all year long.
And that's the balance. Jones and Gilbert are very good off of the dribble. There are times, though, where they've got to get off the ball. The ball can stick. We saw it a lot against West Virginia.
And Demarion Watson whistled for his first foul.
That's the balance, I think, for TJ Otzelberger with how talented this backcourt is.
First 10 minutes of this game played in a really tight window, Chris. Largest lead of the game right now is 4 for the Iowa State Cyclones. With 5 on the shot clock, Quaintance, the bump and the bucket. Shaq's hands.
They are. I was measuring mine against his. It looked like I had a tiny baby hand.
Yeah, it was it was a TKO in the hand fight. He misses that free throw and the chance at a 3-point play, but he brings the Sun Devils to within 2. Jones lost the footing, kept it alive. Here's Gilbert working on Freeman. Takes the 3 and can't get it. And Quaintance taps it to Jihad.
Iowa State only had 4 assists against West Virginia. And a lot of that was the plugging that West Virginia was doing.
Bobby Hurley's going to have to watch himself getting heated on the sidelines. There might not be many teams more physical on the defensive end than Iowa State is.
And that's where we'll see the cumulative impact that physicality has on a thin Arizona State team. You know, getting Sannon back helps, but depth or lack thereof has been a real issue for Bob Hurley this season.
So Arizona State in the bonus with 8:41 to go. The veteran Adam Miller at the line hits the front end of a 1-and-1.
Came in the first half. He really carried their offense in that half, and then he didn't score in the second. Thing he's given them this year, he's their best perimeter defender. He will match up against the other team's best perimeter player.
He gets both ends of the free throw line, and we have a tie ball game, 8:35 to go. Jones, deep three. That one was from downtown Scottsdale.
How about Josh Jefferson bringing the ball up, getting into a pick and pop? And Arizona State switched it, and Jones fired away.
Mason. Here's another freshman, Amir Ali, 5 in white. 5 to shoot for the Sun Devils. Miller does, can't hit, and it's 1 and done for Arizona State. Clones are 5 from their last 6 from the field, and Jones makes it 6 of their last 7, and he's heating up.
That's that extended dribble and just the ability to work his defender to get 2 feet in the paint, and he is really crafty in there. Just a tough shot maker in the paint.
He is a bucket. Here's Jihad. Tough 2 and a chance at a 3-point play.
Curtis Jones has been a first-team All-Big 12 player. There's your point forward, Josh Jefferson. And then Curtis Jones, he fires away. Top of the key, and then just kind of works. A little craft, a little touch in the paint from Curtis Jones. Forced the issue at the basket so far in this game.
Both of these teams have 5 players who average double figures, and it's a little bit a tale of 2 ways of getting it done because Iowa State's making their hay from beyond the arc.
They are. Curtis Jones has 2 of those. So it's interesting. Josh Jefferson has 2 fouls. Taman Lipsey has 2 fouls. Jefferson back in the game. Got a lot of time left in this first half.
He sets the screen for Gilbert. And now Jefferson gets it back. Skip pass, Jones. 10 on the shot clock for the Clones. Now 5 to shoot. It's Jones time. Step back 3. It was on target, but just a little bit short.
An aid there at the end.
The first time the Clones enter Tempe in 48 years. The last time these teams got together in Arizona was 1977. Now, Big 12 competitors, and a big 3 from Adam Miller.
When that ball moves, Arizona State's getting a quality look.
And now the 9-4-2 crew rising up a little bit. Tied at 20, a foul's going to be called on Jihad. Jackson trying to get that 3rd foul drawn, and he doesn't, but he gets the bucket off the window.
Again, one-on-one, those guys are working for their position. Too much ground, I thought, given up by Sean Phillips. You got to body, you got to play with your body a little bit more. But the foul trouble, you know, works against that.
And there is a ton of hand-to-hand combat in the middle of the paint. 10 on the shot clock. Miller has it. Left-handed triple is good. Back-to-back threes from Adam Miller. Coach working hard for that too. That makes it double-digit scoring in a Big 12 regulation game in 22 straight contests for Curtis Jones. And they call an offensive foul on Arizona State.
Arizona State's had a couple of these moving screens, these blocks called. But again, they are the dead ball types of turnovers, so you at least get to set your defense. I'd go right back to Deshaun Jackson with Sean Phillips in the 2 fouls.
That's exactly what Otzelberger does. And Sannon almost took it away. Here's Jones. Are you kidding me, Chris Matola?
He is so crafty. He's one of the best nationally at finishing in the paint. He's got all the shots.
The leading scorer in the Big 12 coming off the bench, and he hasn't slowed down in the starting lineup, averaging over 21 a game. Freeman tried to force it inside. Phillips got rejected, but a foul is called. That's going to be the first foul on Deshaun Jackson.
His body from behind. Nice job by Sean Phillips gathering his composure, and then at 7 feet tall, kind of trying to shoot that thing backwards.
And that's a good sign. A 60% free throw shooter hits the first of 2. Lipsy and Demarion Watson back on the floor. Josh Jefferson and Nate Heisey to the bench for Iowa State. Phillips 1 for 2, the rebound to Jones. Jones with 13 points to lead all scorers. In the corner, Demarion Watson. You don't see that too often. And Mason comes away with it. Freeman, transition 3. Sun Devils back on top by 1, under 4 minutes to go.
How about Curtis Jones carrying this Iowa State offense in his first half? The ability to finish in the paint, lit a float game on fleek.
After review, during a dead ball, we had a double contact technical foul on both teams. We'll resume play from the common foul and shoot 1-on-1 and play on.
So Bashir Jihad and Keshon Gilbert both called for the technical fouls as Michael Greenstein gets his extreme close-up on ESPN+.
Check that complexion. Make sure the pores are exfoliated.
Right, we're in high def now.
That's a second foul on both of those guys. So it's a big technical foul on Gilbert and Jihad.
Gilbert hits the first. He has 3, and now we're tied at 27. And 2 for 2 for the 73% free throw shooter, Keshon Gilbert. And Gilbert goes to the bench with those 2 fouls. Nate Heisey back on the floor. Now some full court pressure from Iowa State, trying to slow down this Sun Devils offense that's come to play today against the number 3 team in the nation. Freeman, 1-on-1. A one-track mind for B.J. Freeman. He has 9.
And he hit the 3 going to break, and then there he sees the matchup with Heisey and says, I got this one.
Arizona State back on top by 1. Jones almost lost it. Put it up, gets it to go anyway. How do you stop it?
Well, and he almost lost it. keeps his composure, gathers the ball, and it's almost like he's just trying to get to his spot, use that pivot foot, and his ability to finish has been remarkable.
He had 20 in the first half against Kansas. Now he's closing in on 20 against Arizona State in the first 20 minutes. Mason out to Sannon. Uh-oh. Around and out for Jones that time. Inside. Quaintance will go to the line.
Iowa State aggressive off the ball screen, edge himself to the foul line.
And while we didn't see Jaden Quaintance practice at all yesterday, what we did see was him working on this, free throws. Came into this game just a 49% free throw shooter. He spent the entire practice yesterday afternoon shooting free throws. He makes the first of 2. And now cans the second one. Jaden Quaintance has 9, and it's a 1-point Arizona State lead. Pocket pass, and it's a turnover. In the corner, Sannon, like a cannon! And he blows a kiss to the DFA crowd. And the crowd doesn't like it, but it's going to stay Iowa State basketball. They're going to...
Talented freshman who is back for Arizona State.
Jones struggling from the free throw line. He misses the first.
Just hasn't looked like Iowa State's been in sync. You know, it's really been Curtis Jones putting this team on his back offensively. But, you know, credit Arizona State. You know, they've done a nice job for the most part, forcing Jones into tough shots in the paint, tough twos, and they've limited everybody else.
That streak of 21 straight games in double figures for Curtis Jones. Iowa State 17-4 in those games. Right now they're down 3 on the ropes in the first half on the road. Mason, the blow by.
In the paint, Arizona State has cut through this defense in the half court off of the dribble, far more than we're used to seeing from Iowa State.
And Bobby Hurley cannot believe the call against his Sun Devils. That's going to go on the youngster Sannon, his first, and send Curtis Jones back to the free throw line.
Well, and part of it is he feels like the officials bailed Iowa State out there. Part of it is it was a real emphasis for Arizona State, as it is for every team Iowa State plays, to keep them off of the foul line, especially this guy at the line now. I mean, Curtis Jones has had no problem seeing the ball go in the basket. You allow him to walk up and take 2 easy ones.
Almost a 50-40-90 guy on the season. 47% from the field, 40% from 3, and 83% from the free throw line. He leads all scorers, this Curtis Jones, with 18 in the first half. Quaintance, nice look inside, met at the rim by Heisey, but a foul is called. Chris, this game feels like a rivalry.
Well, you've got 2 fan bases who are about equal here. I mean, give Iowa State's fans a lot of credit. They showed up. But just a nice action there. I mean, Arizona State, again, when they've gotten into their stuff and they've run their stuff, they've got quality looks. Nice little pass there by Jaden Quaintance to the cutting Mason.
Mason can't convert on the first free throw. He'll have one more coming as Sannon goes to the bench. And seldom used Trevor Best comes on the floor, former high school teammate of Jaden Quaintance. He actually reclassified, got accepted into Arizona State in December, and about a month later he's playing college basketball.
And how about this matchup he has?
Good luck. The double team. And nearly a turnover. It is a turnover.
Really nice job by Arizona State coming over from the weak side. Because that play was there for a one Mississippi. And Jones thought it was there. And a nice job coming over to help. And another Iowa State turnover.
So 38 and a half to go in the half, 30 seconds on the shot clock, and a timeout called use it or lose it variety. Court storming situation like they faced in Morgantown if Arizona State pulls off the upset. 8-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. Now Mason goes to work against Lipsy. Five to shoot for the Devils. Almost lost it. It's on the deck, and they call a jump ball. It'll be possession arrow to the Sun Devils. And now there's 1.9 on the shot clock. What do you do here?
Well, you want to run probably BJ Freeman off, or Sannon off of some screen. You certainly have time to take a dribble and shoot, but obviously it's got to be quick. Or that.
Mason, are you kidding me? Here's Jones, rejected by Phillips. And Arizona State goes to the locker room with some major momentum. Regular season between Arizona State and number 3 Iowa State. Just the 4th meeting ever between these two programs, and we were treated to a dynamite first 20 minutes. Now at the start of the second half, and immediately a foul is going to be called on Adam Miller, and that's his 3rd.
And it starts, Rich, with Iowa State taking care of the basketball. Like, I think there are times, it's interesting, and a lot of that is because those guys handle it so much. And part of it is there are times where they're trying to hit home runs when you just need to hit some singles. I thought they were trying to hit a lot of home runs in that first half.
Here's Lipsy with that injured right thumb. Back out on the floor for TJ Altzoberger. Jefferson going to work. Off the back iron, and Jihad comes away with it. Jefferson held to just 1 field goal in the first half.
Well, trying to get somebody else to join Curtis Jones. First 2 possessions out of halftime go to Jefferson.
Here's Mason. He capped the first half with that long 3. This time he turns it over. Lipsy in the open floor. Jefferson at the other end.
Live ball turnover, turning into offense for Iowa State. That is oxygen for this Iowa State team. You cannot leave your feet on the baseline there if you're Mason.
The Arizona State lead is 5, looking for back-to-back top 25 wins. Mason, 3, not this time. Knocked out of bounds, and it's going to be Iowa State basketball.
Wide open look, and Iowa State defense that typically does, comes all the way over. Taman Lipsy all the way off Mason. Can Arizona State make the 3 with the efficiency they did in the first half? Can they do it in this second half? He was wide open.
Dribble handoff, here's Jones, leading all scorers with 18, and he almost has 20, but it rolls off the rim. Keshon Jackson gets another shot at it.
Rebounds a game in Big 12 play. They only had 2 offensive rebounds in the first half. You see those 2 big bodies, Jackson and Jefferson, right there to clean up the mess.
Keshon Jackson now 3 for 3 from the free throw line, and speaking of threes, it's the 3rd foul on 17-year-old freshman phenom Jaden Quaintance. So Iowa State lands the first uppercut of the second half. They trail by just 1 possession now. Here's Quaintance with those 3 fouls out on the perimeter. Freeman. Do they count it? Yes, no, they don't. They wave it off, and an offensive foul called on BJ Freeman.
You don't see many of those called these days. That secondary defender coming over, you're much better off coming over with verticality. I like the call. I think Tamin Lipsey's there. What a play by Lipsey.
Tamin Lipsey, often injured in his 3 years in Ames, but you can't take him off the floor. Gilbert lines up a three. Can't hit. One and done for the Clones.
To settle.
Mason. And he threw it right to Josh Jefferson. Another fast break opportunity, but Deshaun Jackson shuffled the puppies.
Alston Mason has to take a deep breath. His 2 turnovers have been really careless. And Arizona State taking care of the ball is going to be a big part of this second half. Mason in that first half had no turnovers. He already has 2 in the second half.
Here's Quaintance. Bounce pass to the other big, Jihad. And Bashir Jihad gets fouled on the floor.
I think Bobby Hurley leaving Jaden Quaintance on the floor with the foul trouble is his way of saying, look, we're throwing it all here. I mean, this game is too big for us to play this safe, and you got to trust your freshmen. I mean, it's big guys and young players. Typically, you are more cautious with foul trouble. Bobby Hurley not in this situation.
And not your typical freshman in Jaden Quaintance. Here's Mason, catch and release. Off the mark. Chatfield on the floor, the big man, 33 in Cardinal red, grabs the rebound. Here's Lipsey, taking it himself and gets it to go.
Arizona State, they are not helping off. I mean, that's one of the reasons Curtis Jones in the first half was so one-on-one.
And Chris, listen to how loud this crowd is. Hilton Southwest. And the foul's going to be called. It looks like it might be on Keshon Gilbert. If it is, it's his 3rd.
So Arizona State is going to live with these guards for Iowa State, one-on-one, finishing tough shots in the paint. Curtis Jones did it in the first half, and there's Tamin Lipsey. But those guys off of the perimeter, they are not helping off.
Jihad cans the first of 2 free throws. Be interesting to see now. 16:51 to go in the game, and Keshon Gilbert has 3 fouls.
And one of those being the technical foul. That's how big that was.
As for now, number 10 in red remains on the floor for TJ Otzelberger. Jihad, 77% from the free throw line, makes them both. So it's back to a 3-point Arizona State lead. They've led for most of this contest. Looking for back-to-back top 25 wins. Nice look inside. Chatfield can't finish. Here's Freeman working on Gilbert. Nice drop off. Sean Phillips flushes it.
You love the early drive, early breakdown of the beat defense, 2 feet in the paint, nice drop off.
Now Gilbert takes it himself and it rolls off. And we've got a whistle to stop play with 15:59 to go.
One of the things Arizona State's been able to do to this Iowa State defense is break it down off the dribble. Its balance, you know, you really haven't seen, partly because Arizona State hasn't really had the depth. But you've got a lot of guys contributing. They've done a nice job pressing the issue in the paint. And they've yet to make a 3 in this second half, but they've gotten quality looks, Rich, against, again, an Iowa State defense that, to this point in the season, has been one of the nation's best.
Joshua Jefferson, number 3 in white, will trigger the inbound. The freshman playing in just his 2nd full game in the Big 12, coming off a high ankle injury early in the season. The lob to Jihad.
Great execution out of the timeout by Bob Hurley and his team.
Here's Jones, deep three, got it! 21 for Curtis Jones.
Somebody has to take up the challenge of that matchup. He is working your team. Somebody's got to step up and say, I got this dude.
It's been a collective effort offensively for Arizona State. It's been a virtuoso performance for the man who just grabbed that rebound, Curtis Jones. 5 minutes gone by. Number 3 Cyclones still trailing, but Curtis Jones is putting the Clones on his back.
Everything. He's showing you the entire kit bag. It's been one of the best players, one of the most frightening players in this league to have to defend.
Game high 23 for number 5, Curtis Jones. Mason lost the handle temporarily. And he's blocked from behind by Lipsy. 3 on the shot clock. Freeman. And it's saved, but to the Cyclones. Here's Heisey at the other end. He hesitated, and he'll go to the line and shoot too.
You know, that save by Sean Phillips ends up being the outlet pass that gets Iowa State off and running. And that last defensive possession there from Iowa State looked more like their defense. That was vintage Iowa State.
So the second foul on B.J. Freeman sends Northern Iowa transfer Nate Heisey to the line. And earlier in the game, Chris, we were talking about how TJ Otzelberger dabbles in the transfer portal like every head coach has to do, but he gets players who are the right fit. Nate Heisey at the line is the right fit for this team.
Yeah, outside of TJ Otzelberger dabbling in the weight room, he's swollen up, as always. He's done a great job with roster management, and Heisey is one of those guys. Obviously, their starting front court, Keshon Jackson and Josh Jefferson. And his staff, he and his staff have done a great job finding cultural fits.
Sun Devils' largest lead against the number 3 team in the country, 7, but that lead is now just 1. Coming up on 14 minutes to go. Sanan, Josan, Sanin for 3.
That's the flash of talent.
Here's Jones. Ooh, blocked by Phillips. Miller in the open court.
After review, there's no goaltending. We'll shoot 2 shots.
So it'll be 2 shots for Arizona State. No goaltending called, says Michael Greenstein.
When you hit it, normally now they can do that during the commercial break, but because it impacts the number of free throws he takes here.
It's one thing to go into Morgantown and win on the road against the top 25 team. That is the signature win of the year for Bobby Hurley's Sun Devils. But getting a win against Iowa State, one of just 9 teams in Division I basketball with only 2 losses or fewer, this would be the signature win on Bobby Hurley's Sun Devils NCAA tournament resume. Still a long way to go in Tempe, 13:41 left in regulation. Now Bashir Jihad going to the line to shoot a pair. And he makes the first. One for 2, the rebound to Curtis Jones. Not only does he have 23 points, he now has 6 rebounds for the Clones. No travel called on Jefferson.
I like it though. Again, out of the timeout, Bob Hurley changing up the defense after the free throw, keeping Iowa State a little off balance.
10 on the shot clock. Clones almost turn it over. It'll stay Iowa State ball. 8 on the timer. One thing about this TJ Altenberger club, no sense of panic at this point. Lipsy steps into a three, short, and the rebound to the Sun Devils, but two guys on the same team tried to grab it and it went out of bounds. Iowa State basketball.
Those are the types of plays. You've got two guys, Iowa State had cleared out of there. You know, you watch a tape, the film back after one of these, and you're like, man. These types of one-possession games, Rich, those are big plays.
Here's Jones with a mismatch, and he takes advantage. 26 now for the leading scorer in the Big 12.
Absolutely cooking.
That matches his season high. His career high is 32. Sannon, freshman, working against the veteran Lipsy. 5 on the shot clock. Jihad's gonna have to go. Lost the handle, out of bounds, Iowa State basketball.
Off of the under, out of bounds. Going to Curtis Jones, little screen to screener, and then he does the rest of the work. There is feeling it, and then there's what Curtis Jones is in right now, and again, there's just too much space. How he's allowed that much space at this point in this game, I don't understand.
Jefferson playing with those 3 fouls. Working on Phillips, gets it to go. And we've got a tie ball game in Tempe. This is like Kansas City in March, Chris. Iowa State with a chance to take the lead.
Man, you're lucky. Curtis Jones dribbling into a loaded up defense there. This Josh Jefferson shot right here, a welcome sign. Curtis Jones needs some help in the balance of this game. And Josh Jefferson right up over the top. He offensively, the consistency and efficiency that you've had. This is a big possession here.
At a timeout, they almost turn it over. Here's Jones for 3. Off to the right. Out of bounds, it'll be Arizona State basketball.
You know, when your defense is what you do, like Iowa State, it helps there being no panic. You can rely on that defense. See what Arizona State has here out of the timeout drawn up.
We've seen a couple of good offensive sets from Bobby Hurley's club out of a timeout, and they get a bucket there.
Little zoom action, and you get Adam Miller on the run. Coming off hard to that strong left hand. He is left-handed. Nice finish in the paint.
Now Miller leads the Sun Devils in scoring, first to double digits. Jackson. Out to Jefferson, had it blocked by Phillips. Sannon working on a mismatch, and that's going to be a foul on Josh Jefferson, his 4th.
Big. And that's the response. You know, you thought maybe does Iowa State start pulling away here out of the timeout. Arizona State has 2 stops, and then that shot by Miller.
I stand corrected, that's the 3rd foul on Josh Jefferson. He's on the bench. We have another foul. This time it's on the Sun Devils.
Now that is 4. And it's a good call. You know, you see that a lot, and it's not often called, where that screener just kind of runs blocking, like an offensive lineman blocking downfield into two defenders.
Jaden Quaintance forced to the bench with his 4th foul. Iowa State hasn't led since 3 minutes to go in the first half. And Lipsey got met at the rim by the Sun Devils D.
Nice job by Sannon coming over.
Freeman with 9, had his pocket picked by Jones. Jones takes it himself. Offensive rebound to Marion Watson. And a bounce pass to Gilbert draws a Sun Devils foul, and Keshon Gilbert will go to the line.
Off of the live ball turnover, Curtis Jones just taking the cookies. And when Curtis Jones is in transition, you cannot relax. Even if he pulls up and looks like he's going to pull it back, you cannot relax. It's that second thrust that gets him into the paint, and then the offensive glass does the work.
Gilbert misses the first of 2 free throws. And yes, the curtain of distraction taking its toll on Iowa State. Gilbert goes 1 for 2.
What do you mean taking its toll? He just made 2 free throws, Rich.
He missed the first one.
Oh, did he?
Yes. You were distracted by the curtain of distraction.
By that cow head.
Jihad showed 3, drives instead, and draws the foul.
They just had at Arizona State a number of different guys. They're skilled. You know, they offensively can come at you in a lot of different ways. The versatility of Jihad at 6'9", a guy who averaged 18 a game at Ball State. So he has been a guy who has carried an offense.
And typically, Bashir Jihad makes a living at the free throw line. He's got a 66% free throw rate. Most of the time when he shoots the ball, he's going to try and cash it in at the free throw line, but he misses that one. 0 for 2.
Big. These one possession games, those free throws, that free throw line becomes critical.
Sun Devils just 9 for 16 from the charity stripe. Their lead is 1 against number 3 Iowa State. 8 on the shot clock for the Clones. Lipsey, the tap from behind by Freeman, knocks it out of bounds. 5 on the shot clock for Iowa State's offense.
You've got to talk here. Assume it's going to Curtis Jones on a screen-to-screener.
Jones wanted it, didn't get it. Lipsey with the scoop shot in the paint.
Great execution.
Iowa State's first lead since 30-29. Now the freshman Sannon with the ball. Almost had it taken away by Gilbert. 7 to shoot. Sannon can't get the tough 2 to go. The rebound to Lipsey. Gut check time for the Sun Devils. Like a full head of steam, and Gilbert's whistled for his 4th foul.
Obviously, it's a big foul at this point in the game. I mean, I don't know about that call. I think that's a block. That's overthinking it.
So foul number 4 on Keshon Gilbert. Nate Heisey takes his place on the floor. Number 3, Iowa State looking to avoid the upset. Tough 2, and a runner by Mason. Jones, logo three, short and rebounded by Phillips. We have a timeout on the floor, 7:24 to go, a 1-point game.
Alston Mason's done a nice job today controlling this game. What a tough shot off of that goofy foot. Little touch off the glass, smooch, smooch. So there's plenty of time. But this is as well as they have played. You'd love to pick one off here at home. And for Iowa State, you know, they gotta, you mentioned this during the break, they gotta go to Arizona on Monday. Like, it doesn't get any easier for them either.
Could you imagine they get upset here, then they have to go across the state to Tucson, play a really good Arizona team. All of a sudden, the Cyclones, number 3 in the country, could be looking at 3 losses in 4 games. But still 7:15 to go in this one. Jefferson picks it off.
Just not there. And what a great read by Jefferson. He read it the whole way like a safety.
He had 4 steals in their win against UCF. Now on the offensive end. And a foul on the floor on Arizona State.
One of the few times tonight Arizona State has not executed out of a timeout. It's too clogged up, too congested in the paint. And then Josh Jefferson. And Josh Jefferson, like a safety, just read it.
So Jefferson steps to the line, 7 points today, to go along with 7 rebounds. You talk about Josh Jefferson, he comes from a football family. His dad played pro ball, his 2 brothers played football. And he picked one off there and got a free throw for his troubles at the other end. That curtain of distraction trying to help out the Sun Devils. Got someone back there who looks like Moana.
Got to be a football player.
But he didn't faze Josh Jefferson. He makes both free throws. And now Iowa State back on top by 1, under 7 minutes to go. Quaintance, the freshman phenom, on the floor with his 4 fouls. Jihad, a tough 2.
So Josh Jefferson denying Jaden Quaintance that entry pass, almost took Arizona State out of the play. And then Jihad just goes and makes one on his own.
Miller with 10, Quaintance with 9, Jihad now with 9. And Freeman grabs the loose ball. Back and forth we go in the desert.
And limiting Iowa State to 1 shot.
Catch and release. Off the mark, Jefferson another rebound. He's working on a double-double now. 9 points, 7 boards for Josh Jefferson. And Josh Jefferson will go to the line and try and earn it at the stripe.
It's nice to have a guy who can bail you out of a possession that goes wonky. That's what Bashir Jihad does right here. Shows you the versatility, good little face-up, jab one way, finish through contact, probably got fouled.
78% free throw shooter, Josh Jefferson. Showing the whole repertoire again. He's in double digits with 10. A 4-time Big 12 newcomer of the week, averages 15 and 9 in road games this year.
The picture of strength, his body language. You never know if he's up 10, down 10. Just solid, Josh Jefferson.
And another one of those perfect fit transfer portal culture guys in Ames for TJ Otzelberger.
Iowa State turning up the heat here a little bit, just picking up a little higher, letting Arizona State feel them earlier in the possession.
What do you do here if you're the Sun Devils?
Well, you got to make an entry pass first, but I've liked Jihad.
Not on that a possession. Missed the 3, but Freeman took it away and forced the foul to be called on number 1, Keshon Jackson, his third.
Really great play by Freeman. That shot by Jihad, I think you bail out the defense. Force Josh Jefferson to have to guard you off the dribble. You got to continue to run your stuff. You know, that's where Arizona State, especially in that first half, were able to get some quality looks when they went through their actions.
And now B.J. Freeman, the second Sun Devil, in double digits. He has 10. And Freeman with 11.
Now Arizona State will pick up.
This lead has been seesawing back and forth. The pressure against Lipsy. And now more full court pressure from Bobby Hurley.
Dangerous pass.
Very dangerous. Gilbert back on the floor. He has 4 fouls. Jefferson leaves it for Watson.
What a pass. Jefferson drew an entire army of defenders and a really nice baseline cut by Watson.
First 2 of the game for Demarion Watson, and it's a big 2. Gives Iowa State back the lead. Freeman, no. Watson, another, or that's Jefferson with the rebound. Gilbert with a huge triple.
I think B.J. Freeman overhelped, and Mason with his stunt on Gilbert bought Freeman a second to get back, but what a big-time shot.
A 4-point lead feels like 14 at this point. Picked off, and a foul called. And once again, the Cyclones defense bearing their teeth.
But here's this 3, and this is overhelp. Like, force Jefferson one-on-one to take a tough 2. Instead, B.J. Freeman comes too far off. And Mason does a good job stunting to force the dribble there by Gilbert. But then Freeman, not enough sense of urgency to get out there to the contest, and a big-time shot from Gilbert.
So that sends Keshon Gilbert to the line, but maybe more importantly, Chris, it's the gate for 17-year-old freshman phenom, Jaden Quaintance.
Been a quiet day from him. It's a big possession coming up here, Rich. You know, this is one of those possessions as Iowa State is now turning the screws on this game. This becomes a big possession for Arizona State to have to score on.
And 2 big free throws from Keshon Gilbert. He's in double digits with 10. A 7-0 Cyclones run. Coming up on 4 minutes left in regulation. Here's Jihad. Calls his own number, and it's off the back iron.
Best defensive possession of the day by Iowa State. Dialed up when they needed it.
Gilbert looking for a seam. Got it! 4 straight points for Keshon Gilbert. A 9-0 Iowa State run, and the number 3 team on the road in hostile territory says, we're taking it to you. Chris Patola, Iowa State has its largest lead of the game, and Keshon Gilbert's on a 7-0 run himself.
Champions response. You know, they have turned the screws on this game, and it just shows you how many guys they have. First of all, their fans have turned out today. I mean, what a showing from Cyclone Nation. But Curtis Jones has 26 in this game. He's been quiet over the last couple minutes. Who steps into the void? Josh Jefferson and then Keshon Gilbert. They just have a lot of dudes, Rich, who can make an impact when it comes down the stretch of a game.
Jefferson now has his 8th double-double on the season. 11 points, 10 boards to go along with 3 assists. Keshon Gilbert, the only other Cyclone in double digits besides Curtis Jones. He has 12 points. And this Iowa State team is looking to respond in a big way. Remember, they lost on the road against West Virginia. That was a court storming in Mountaineer land, but they responded with a huge win against UCF at home. They basically don't lose in Hilton Coliseum, but this would be a big road win for the number 3 Cyclones. Gut check time now for Arizona State. Here's the freshman Sannon. And the bounce pass is picked off. Up ahead, it's Gilbert. And he gets fouled and will go to the line. And Gilbert is down and writhing in pain after that foul on the freshman Sannon.
Iowa State is just switching everything. So Josh Jefferson, he had already switched by that point on to Adam Miller. Just a terrible pass. I mean, right to Josh Jefferson.
The common foul has been upgraded to a flagrant 1 foul for unnecessary contact. Due to the player being injured and the trainer coming out, Iowa State will pick the replacement.
Champions response by Iowa State over the last 4 minutes here. It was almost like they said, okay, it's go time. Enough messing around with this game. Time to turn the screws. It started with their defense, and then some other guys outside of Curtis Jones got involved in this game offensively.
Jones now with a season high and a game high, 28 points. And it will remain Iowa State basketball. Their largest lead of the afternoon now has ballooned to 10. With a win, they improved to 17-2. That's their best 19-game start in a generation. And the ball is in the hands of the reliable Tamin Lipsey. Jefferson lost it, taken away by Phillips. Here's a 3 in transition, and Miller's got it. Clones handle the pressure. Jones lost the handle, out of bounds. It's going to stay Iowa State basketball.
Take a deep breath, Iowa State. Take a deep breath. You know, this is a play they run a lot. Just Josh Jefferson ISO'd there. You know, BJ Freeman comes off there on the baseline. Good help. And then that's one of those make or break shots. He misses that, this game's over. You stay alive with that made 3.
Pocket pass, Jefferson from Lipsey.
Joshua Sannon's got to make some type of a play there.
Now 13 points for Josh Jefferson. And he got the steal again. Another all-around excellent game for number 2, Josh Jefferson. Gilbert back on the floor. Here's a lob.
Jeez.
And a foul's going to be called on Sannon. A head scratcher of a pass, but he was bailed out with the foul.
You know, this has not been Iowa State's best performance here. Yeah, it was clearly a foul. This moment has been a little bit too big for Joshua Sannon in his first game back. You know, this has not been Iowa State's best performance today, Rich. In fact, I mean, Curtis Jones showed you why he's perhaps the most frightening scorer in the Big 12. He carried Iowa State. But when it came to winning time, Iowa State, everybody, it was all hands on deck, and they showed you how tough they are.
You've said it a couple of times, championship medal. This is a team that won the Big 12 tournament last year, but came in this year with still a chip on their shoulder, playing with an edge. They went to Maui and were a Janai Broom chip-in from 2 from leaving there undefeated. One of just 9 teams with only 2 or fewer losses, and they're looking to walk out of Tempe with a big win. Under 2 minutes left. Here's Freeman. Too strong on the 3, and it's 1 and done for the Sun Devils. Good tap. Freeman got the steal.
Man.
But Jones steps in and gets a steal of his own.
Good decision.
And the Hilton Southwest crowd approves. 7 to shoot for the Clones. Jones has a mismatch, trying to take advantage, and he'll go to the line, the foul on Phillips.
That's the other thing, too, that makes Iowa State tough, is you've got 3 guards, all of whom can handle, especially late in close games. They've got 3 guards, all of whom can handle, and it's an outstanding free throw shooting team.
That's 6 straight free throws made by Curtis Jones, who leads all scorers with 29 rather. And now a 30-piece for Curtis Jones. And the lead is ballooned to a dozen for Iowa State. Now 1 minute left. It's desperation time for the Sun Devils. Jones adds to his total. 33, a career high for Curtis Jones. And another Arizona State giveaway. The shot clock is off. Iowa State shows why they're the number 3 team in the country. Coming into hostile territory and taking down Arizona State with a second half surge.
And Jones shows you he may be the player of the year in this conference right now.
A season high 33 for the Big 12's best scorer, Curtis Jones, and he leads number 3 Iowa State to a 76-61 win on the road in Tempe against Arizona State. Your final thoughts?
Champion's performance. Gutty effort from Arizona State. Played a great first half. But down the stretch of this game, Iowa State showed you how tough they are. And what a day from Curtis Jones. I mean, he's had a lot of big-time games this year, none bigger than this one. This is a statement today from Curtis Jones that to this point, he is the Big 12's player of the year.
33 to lead all scorers for number 5 in Cardinal Red. And here in Hilton Southwest, Curtis Jones leads the number 3 Cyclones to a 76-61 win over Arizona State. Next up for the Clones, they go across state to try to complete the Arizona 2-step and take on the Wildcats on a big Monday night.